Okay, I'm going to start. We're talking about artificial intelligence and scientific progress today. I'm Mauskopf, I think you, and for over 50 years, I taught the history of science at Duke. Um, and I'm very much in the title of the article from this issue of The Economist, I think it's September 16th. His title, How AI Can Revolutionize Science. Historians of science are always interested in scientific revolutions, and so this really intrigued me. And I think it's an interesting article, so I'll start reading it. Then Joe's going to read some more about artificial intelligence and science. I'll let her introduce herself. Okay. Um, the subtitle here is the technology is being applied in many fields and could lead to a surge in scientific progress. Debates about artificial intelligence tend to focus on its potential dangers, algorithmic biases and discrimination, the mass destruction of jobs, and even some say the extinction of humanity. As some observers fret about these dystopian scenarios, however, others are focusing on the potential rewards. AI could, they claim, help humanity solve some of its biggest and thorniest problems. And they say AI will do this in very specific way by radically accelerating the pace of scientific discovery, especially in areas such as medicine, climate science, and green technology. Luminaries in the field, I don't know who these people are, but I'll read their name. Luminaries in the field, such as Demis Hassabis and Jan LeCun, believe that AI can turbocharge scientific progress and lead to a golden age of discovery. Could they be right? Such claims are worth examining and may provide a useful counterbalance to fears about large scale unemployment and killer robots. Many previous technologies have, of course, been falsely claimed as panaceas. The electric telegraph was lauded in the 1850s as the herald of world peace, as were aircraft in the 1900s. Pundits in the 1990s said the internet would reduce inequality and eradicate nationalism. But the mechanism by which AI will supposedly solve the world's problems has a stronger historical basis because there have been several periods in history when new approaches and new tools did indeed help bring about bursts of world-changing scientific discovery and innovation. In the 17th century, microscopes and telescopes opened up new vistas of discovery and encouraged researchers to favor their own observations over the received wisdom of antiquity, while the introduction of scientific journals gave them new ways to share and publicize their findings. The result was rapid progress in astronomy, physics, and other fields, and new inventions from the pendulum clock to the steam engine, the prime mover of the Industrial Revolution. Then, starting in the late 19th century, the establishment of research laboratories, which brought together ideas, peoples, and materials on an industrial scale, gave rise to further innovations, such as artificial fertilizers, pharmaceuticals, and transistors, the building block of the computer. From the mid 20th century, computers in turn enabled new forms of science based on simulation and modeling, from the design of weapons and aircraft to more accurate weather forecasting. And the computer revolution may not be finished yet. As we report in a special scientific section, and this is the introduction to that section, AI tools and techniques are now being applied in almost every field of science, though the degree of adoption varies widely. 7.2% of physics and astronomy papers published in 2022 involved AI, for example, compared to 1.4% in veterinary medicine. AI is being employed in many ways. It can identify promising candidates for analysis, such as molecules with particular properties in drug discovery or materials with the characteristics needed in batteries or solar cells. It can sift through piles of data, such as those produced by particle colliders or robotic telescopes, looking for patterns. And AI can model and analyze even more complex systems, such as the folding of proteins and the formation of galaxies. AI tools have been used to identify new antibiotics, reveal the Higgs boson, and spot regional accents in wolves, among other things. I didn't know wolves had accents. Anyway, all this is to be welcome, but the journal and the laboratory went further still. They altered scientific practice itself and unlocked more powerful means of making discoveries by allowing people and ideas to mingle in new ways and on a larger scale. AI, too, has the potential to set of such a transformation. Two areas in particular look promising. The first is, quote, literature-based discovery, unquote, LBD, I'll refer to this, which involves analyzing existing scientific literature using ChatGPT-style language analysis to look for new hypotheses, connection of ideas that humans may have missed. Uh, LBD is showing promise in identifying new experiments to try and even suggesting potential research collaborators. This could stimulate interdisciplinary work and foster innovation at the boundaries between fields. LBD systems can also identify blind spots in a given field and even predict future discoveries and who will make them. The second area is robot scientists, also known as quote unquote self driving labs. These are robotic systems that use AI to form new hypotheses based on analysis of existing data and literature, and then test these hypotheses by performing hundreds or thousands of experiments in fields including systems biology and materials science. Unlike, sorry, Unlike human scientists, robots are less attached to previous results, less driven by bias, and crucially, easy to replicate. This could scale up experimental research, develop unexpected theories, and explore avenues that human investigators may not have considered. The idea that AI might transform scientific practice is therefore feasible, but the main barrier is sociological. It can happen only if human scientists are willing and able to use such tools. Many lack skills and training. Some worry about being put out of a job. Fortunately, there are hopeful signs. AI tools are now moving from being pushed by AI researchers to being embraced by specialists in other fields. Governments and funding bodies could help by pressing for greater use of common standards to allow AI systems to exchange and interpret laboratory results and data. They could also fund more research into the integration of AI smarts with laboratory robotics and into forms of AI beyond those being pursued in the private sector, which has bet nearly all of its chips on language-based systems like ChatGPT. Less fashionable forms of AI, such as model-based machine learning, may be better suited to scientific tasks, such as forming hypotheses. Now, the last paragraph, we get back to the history of science. The adding of the artificial. In 1665, during a period of rapid scientific progress, Robert Hooke, an English polymath, described the advent of new scientific instruments such as the microscope and telescope as, quote, the adding of artificial organs to the natural, unquote. They let researchers explore previously inaccessible realms and discover things in new ways, quote, with prodigious benefit to all sorts of useful knowledge. That again is quote. For Hooke's modern-day successors, the adding of artificial intelligence to the scientific toolkit is poised to do the same thing in the coming years, with similarly world-changing results. Thank you. And don't. Okay, now Joe will take over from there.
So what I'm going to do is read from a couple of articles, one from a Duke Medical School magazine that we get, and one from a Science that I found in our library about the use of AI in medical research and medical, not research, but just medical practice. So the first one from the Duke Medical School magazine is called Artificial Intelligence and Healthcare, Promise and Pitfalls. Clinicians, researchers, and educators at Duke University School of Medicine and across Duke Health are using artificial intelligence to schedule surgeries more efficiently, give students immediate feedback on academic writing, and help speed up drug discovery. These varied applications have one thing in common. They are pointed to well-defined tasks. That's one crucial characteristic for trustworthy AI, especially in healthcare, said Michael Pencina, director of Duke AI Health. And it's very important that AI technologies serve the humans, Pencina said. It's very powerful, but it's just math. So helping people, not replacing them. In June 2023, researchers from Duke Health published a study in the Annals of Surgery showing that 3 artificial intelligent models trained on data from thousands of surgical cases were 13% more accurate in predicting operating room time needed for each procedure compared to human schedulers alone. These AI models are now in use across all operating rooms at Duke University Health System. The practice makes more efficient use of surgical suites and surgeon time, said Wendy Webster at Duke. Cutting down on the number of surgeries that can extend past regular working hours can reduce labor expenses for overtime, and more accurate predictions make it easier to plan a series of surgeries while using fewer operating rooms, she said. But the algorithms don't replace people, they help them do their jobs better. The human schedulers are the conductors of the orchestra, Webster said. An anesthesiologist runs the board, an electronic panel that draws from a shared calendar system built into the electronic health record. The board provides real-time progress updates for each surgeon. They are really looking at, based on the time, how people are doing today, how the cases are progressing, where do we need to start moving people around and follow, she said. The predictable workflow builds trust between the scheduling team and the surgeons, and it helps increase the number of surgeries that can be performed, giving patients better access, Webster said. The secret sauce is that we went to the end user at the beginning and asked, is this going to make their life more efficient? Then you're side by side with the surgeon or the anesthesiologist or the nurse validating the data. Another promising application of AI includes analyzing images such as mammograms to detect disease earlier. Are there patterns in imaging that humans are missing that could be identified early on? Pencina said. Imaging is one topic of discussion in the 5-year partnership between Duke Health and Microsoft, launched in August 2023 to responsibly and ethically harness the potential of generative AI and cloud technology to redefine the healthcare landscape. The conversation we're having is circling around creating a reference standard for imaging what healthy is, Penchina said. Then we can start looking at disease. A boon to drug discovery. You've probably heard of or even used one of the most popular forms of AI, ChatGPT, which has exploded in popularity in the last year and is being used in classrooms in the Duke Department of Biostatistics and Bioinformatics. ChatGPT is what is known as a large language model, which can train itself on books and articles and learn the patterns and connections among words. When a user gives it prompts and asks it to create new content, ChatGPT instantly generates a written response. Researchers at Duke are using protein language models that work on a similar principle to predict interactions among proteins and interactions between proteins and potential drugs. Rohit Singh explained, the reason it works so surprisingly well is because the way evolution has constructed proteins and the way we humans have evolved language seem to have similarities. Proteins are made up of chains of amino acids. The sequences of these amino acids determine the 3D structure of the protein, which governs how a protein folds and how it can bind to other proteins or to therapeutics. We know a lot about amino acid sequences of proteins, but not very much about 3D protein structure, which is what determines the protein's function, said Scott Soderling. The correlation of amino acid sequences to 3D structure has an order and a pattern, Singh said, not unlike human language. By training protein language models with the large amount of data available about amino acid sequences, these models can make predictions about structure that are more accurate than humans can achieve by themselves. For many years, scientists have been determining the 3D structure of proteins by dissolving them in a solution, crystallizing them, then using X-ray analysis, Soderling said. Using protein language models can help reduce or skip that laborious step. Soderling said that using this and other AI approaches to find patterns in complex, large data sets will help scientists generate new hypotheses in basic and translational research that wouldn't be possible without AI. It will replace some things, but it will also enable us to do new things, he said, including designing new proteins with therapeutic value that don't exist in nature to better target certain diseases. Discovering and developing a successful new drug takes an average of roughly 10 years and costs over $1 billion, Singh said. It costs you this much because you're also folding in the cost of all the unsuccessful attempts you have made. Drugs may be tested first in a collection of cells in a test tube, then in a mouse or other animal model, and ultimately in human clinical trials. But imagine if we could do all of this in the computer before we spend a bunch of money trying it out, Singh said. Machine learning can help us get much better at extrapolating from the simple examples to the complex examples. So a lot's going on at our neighbor down the street. And then the last piece I'm going to read is about what's going on at the Mount Sinai Health System in New York City. This is called AI at the bedside, a case study for delivering value to patients and clinicians. The adoption of artificial intelligence, AI, in healthcare is no longer a vision of the future, but a tangible reality that is now shaping care delivery at institutions across the United States. It is redefining the way clinicians deliver care and patients receive it. Recent advancements in AI, including large foundation models, LFMs, and large language models, LLMs, like ChatGPT, are uncovering new possibilities for reimagining how care is delivered. This article will provide a broad overview of the evolving landscape of AI in healthcare, with illustrations from the Mount Sinai Health System in New York City. From early applications in patient care to the innovative field of precision medicine and genomics, we describe how AI is enhancing patient experience and clinical decision-making. Groundbreaking work at the new Center for Ophthalmic AI and Human Health offers a glimpse into how AI is transforming specialties. Additionally, we explore the return on investment of AI, highlighting the quantifiable impact of this technology. To expedite the evolution and uptake of machine learning and AI solutions, we at Mount Sinai have taken a significant leap forward by developing an internal AI platform. This platform operates in the cloud. I'm never quite sure what that means, but it's not the one that's outside, and facilitates two-way real-time data communication with the electronic medical record that we now that most hospitals and physicians are now using. The initial use cases centered on improving patient safety, including a new machine learning model to identify patients at risk for clinical deterioration, a model that identifies which patients in the hospital are most likely to fall, and a model for ensuring timely identification and treatment of malnutrition by a registered dietitian. In each case, AI-powered algorithms significantly outperform the existing tools available in the EMR. So then this next sentence, paragraph, I don't really understand, but I think we have some people here who might. AI has the promise to play a crucial role in multi-omics research and its translation to clinical care by leveraging its ability to analyze and interpret vast amounts of diverse biological data from various omics sources such as genomics, proteomics, metabolomics, and transcriptomics. With the integration of AI algorithms and foundation models, patterns, correlations, and biomarkers that will be challenging for human analysts to discern manually can be identified. AI-driven approaches have enabled more comprehensive analysis of complex diseases, leading to a deeper understanding of their molecular mechanisms and potential therapeutic targets. By combining data from different omics levels, AI has the potential to generate a holistic view of biological processes, unveiling intricate interactions between genes, proteins, and metabolites, thus enhancing our knowledge of disease at a molecular level and translating this knowledge to clinical care. Then I'm going to talk about this ophthalmic Center. The new Center for Ophthalmic AI and Human Health at Mount Sinai is a model for clinical innovation in AI-based diagnostic care. Employing retinal fundus images, deep learning models can predict cardiovascular risk factors such as age, gender, smoking status, systolic blood pressure, and major adverse cardiac events. Novel machine learning models have used retinal vascular data from fundus photos or multimodal retinal imaging to identify individuals with Alzheimer's disease, with the potential to identify disease years before the onset of mild cognitive impairment. The Center seeks to research and implement validated AI models across three initial clinical areas: Mount Sinai's teleretina program in primary care physician offices, emergency department housed eye stroke service, and ED teleophthalmology consult platform. The implementation of validated AI software for retinal images can provide timely on-site interpretations of these scans and appropriate patient referrals when significant ocular or systemic diseases are predicted. High-resolution optical coherence tomography retinal scans obtained with instantaneous transmission to on-call resident retinal specialists have allowed for the expeditious diagnosis of acute eye strokes, central retinal artery occlusion, in patients presenting to Mount Sinai's emergency departments with painless vision loss. This has allowed for the institution of intra-arterial thrombolysis stroke therapy within a narrowly prescribed time window. The accelerated process has led to the remarkable recovery of central vision in multiple patients with acute eye stroke who had poor prognosis for visual improvement. This strong amount of investment in AI at Mount Sinai has already begun to pay dividends by enhancing clinical business intelligence with clinical decision support at the bedside. Many studies on AI in healthcare have attempted to focus on cost savings rather than health quality or revenue impact. However, at Mount Sinai, we have made a point to focus on both. AI tools have had a similar influence on healthcare within our hospitals as they aim to have in other industries by creating a surge in productivity growth. For example, with the help of our machine learning enhanced malnutrition screening, we're assisting our registered dietitian health system-wide with a boost in their productivity. By prioritizing those patients most at risk for malnutrition, it has enabled our dietitians to become more efficient, clinically assessing 10% more patients daily, and more productive, identifying treating malnutrition more frequently due to an almost 50% increase in screening sensitivity. Malnutrition assessment and diagnosis, followed by nutritional intervention and documentation of severity, result in both direct and indirect returns on investment from AI. These elements help facilitate shortening length of stay, reducing readmissions and unplanned emergency department visits, and improving facility revenue through documentation that more appropriately reflects the necessary resources used in caring for these patients. All of these considerations confirm the ability to quantify per patient and in aggregate the quality and financial return on investment impacts of AI. This case study from the Mount Sinai demonstrates the ways in which AI is elevating our ability to deliver patient care, enable research discoveries, and support clinical decision making, whether it is predicting clinical deterioration, diagnosing diseases at their molecular level, or enhancing patient experience. AI is poised to continue its transformative journey across all healthcare. Leveraging the capabilities of AI to analyze and interpret vast amounts of information, we are moving toward a future of precise, personalized care. While AI presents unique challenges, the return on investment is undeniable, from improving patient outcomes to optimizing hospital operations to reducing disparities in healthcare. As we further explore and harness this potential, we anticipate that AI will help build a future where healthcare is personalized, predictive, and proactive, truly delivering value to both patients and clinicians. Okay, that's AI. So our doctors are all using it. It's the world of the future, or the current, yes.